What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk about some signs of growth that we've seen from Zach Wilson. We are at the bye week. It's a good time to kind of look at where things stand right now with the quarterback situation. So figured that's what I would do today. Now I want to make this very, very, very clear. Zach Wilson is not fixed, but at the same time, we cannot ignore the tangible progress that we've seen specifically in the last 3 weeks. The conversation can and probably should be Zach Wilson went from someone who was unplayable at a time, and specifically it looked like it was nearing its worst against the New England Patriots in week 3, to someone who is at least serviceable, someone you could survive with. There are steps where he needs to take to get better. There still is room for improvement, but Zach Wilson has improved specifically over the last 3 weeks. What's going on, guys? It is time for more Underdog fantasy selections. For a limited time, Underdog is giving users a $500 match deposit bonus. So up to $500, whatever you deposit, they will match it if you use my code on the screen or linked down below. I'm going to do 3 picks this week. I'm excited about each one of these picks. No Jets, so it's not going to be focusing on just the Jets game. That'll come back later when they return off the bye week. But there are 3 things that jump out to me that I'm going to use. First is the higher on Jalen Hurts, 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns. I think he runs one in. I am also targeting Patrick Mahomes, his passing yards. I think he is going to eat up that Los Angeles Chargers defense. So I'm taking 277.5. I will take the higher on that one. And finally, I would like to go with Diggs. I am taking his receiving yards over the higher, rather on the receiving yards at 83.5 against New England. I think Buffalo straight up dominates. So a $10 play will net you $60. Sign up now using my code and make sure to get involved on Underdog. I think Michael Nania of Jet X Factor did a really, really good job of highlighting some of those important things that we've seen an upgrade at, or an improvement at. And I wanted to talk about some stats that I think show signs of improvement really in 2 key areas of his game that show that there's improvement, and maybe, dare I say the word hope, that things could get better in the second half of the season. The first is accuracy. And if you look at adjusted completion percentage, which is a stat from Pro Football Focus, and while I don't love the PFF grading system, I do think some of their stats are interesting and useful in terms of evaluating a prospect. Adjusted completion percentage, in case you don't know, accounts for things like drops, throwaways, batted passes, spikes, and passes altered by a quarterback hit. So it's not so black and white as just, the completion percentage. Was it caught? Was it not? It kind of gives a little bit more context. So these numbers are going to be higher, again, based on, taking out some of the things that may impact a quarterback's completion percentage that aren't his fault. So in his first 2 years, Zach Wilson's even adjusted, we know his completion percentage was bad. Adjusted completion percentage was just as bad. He was 32nd and 33rd in the NFL in his first 2 years in the league. Now this year, we've seen an improvement. This year, his adjusted completion percentage is 74.7%, which ranks him 18th in the NFL. Is 18th elite? No, of course it's not elite numbers. It's not even average numbers, but you're getting to that top 25-ish range instead of bottom 1 or 2 quarterback in the NFL. He is going from, again, unplayable to serviceable and playing at a backup level, which is what he was asked to be for this team this year. He was asked to be the backup quarterback. He was not asked to be the starting quarterback, and he's been playing like a backup level quarterback. And this improvement, jumping up from 32nd or even 33rd last year, from 33rd up to 18th, if he can continue to live somewhere in the top 20, Yeah, absolutely take that. That is a great, great sign and a great improvement shown by Zach Wilson so far. And it doesn't stop there. The accuracy just in general has been good, specifically the underneath stuff. For instance, you don't see the dirt balls, the sailed screen passes, none of the frustrating things that we saw that plagued him his first 2 years. I think his mechanics are better, his throwing motion is better, which in a sense is helping his accuracy. The second thing that is really, really key here is he is getting the ball out quicker. His first 2 years in the league, he held onto the ball forever and took so many sacks. And a lot of people go, oh my God, well, the offensive line absolutely stunk. That's why he took so many sacks. Well, that is part of the problem. The offensive line, specifically the first 2 years, were part of the problem. This year, I actually think the offensive line's been okay. I don't really have a ton of complaints about the offensive line. But if you want to look at his snap to throw in 2021 and 2022, he was holding it for 3.05 seconds his rookie year, which was the fourth longest in the league. 2022 was 3.07, which was the third highest in football. Now, this year so far, 2.92, which is eighth highest, still a little bit too high. That needs to improve. But if you want to isolate the last 3 weeks, he's at 2.72, and that's when we've seen him play his best. 2.72 is something that you could work with. 2.92 is a little bit too high, but 2.72, if you're staying at that pace, that's a much better spot. In the 2.72 range, that would put him about middle of the pack, which again, that's what you want to see. 18th, close to the middle of the pack in terms of adjusted completion percentage, and then the rest of the way, it would be nice to see him getting the ball out quicker at around the middle of the pack. That is a good sign of progress. And if you look at his best career starts, it's all when he is getting the ball out quicker. Against Kansas City this year, 2.73 seconds. Miami in 2022, 2.73 seconds. Buffalo in 2022, 2.39 seconds. He's getting the ball out really quick. And Tampa Bay in his rookie year, 2.65 seconds. So when he's holding it on forever, like for instance, against the Patriots, when that number's up in the 3.2s, that's really, really bad. That means he's holding onto the ball too long. He's thinking too much. And that's when the bad happens. He needs to get the ball out quick. And if that continues to happen, that is a fantastic sign, not only for this New York Jets team, but for Zach Wilson, because that's what leads you to the next step, the final thing, something we've talked a ton about this week and just in general so far this season with the Jets offense and their struggles, is how bad they've been in the red zone and how bad they are at scoring points. The tangible progress that we've seen in accuracy and getting the ball out quicker is a good thing. That is, again, improvement, going from horrific and unplayable to semi-serviceable is good. That is a good thing. But the next step here is you need to start getting the ball in the end zone. That's the next step. So he needs to continue to add. As I said, he is not a finished product. He is not completely fixed. He needs to keep improving in some areas and getting the ball in the end zone and scoring more touchdowns and getting better in the red zone is where that could come into play. So let me know your thoughts on Zach Wilson so far this year down in the comments below. Please, before you go, leave a like on the video. That really helps me out a lot. And if you're not subscribed, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you get all my New York Jets content. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. I am Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.